camera to that point, and then we'll talk about it.
Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about is proxy oracle. If we just know our opponent spawns here, and he's going to start proxying a Stargate. Where can it be on the map? What will be good locations?
Well, I guess as far away as possible, isn't it? Like away from the tower, so you don't get scouted. Obviously, not in the pathways, and that's sort of things you will be getting from, isn't it?
Yes, it's going to be out of the Xelnaga range and out of general scouting path. So normally you can see it like on the gold basis. It's a really popular spot because it's really close and not everybody's looking up there. And also, just general this high ground area here is really proxy handy. Protest players love this place to proxy their stuff. And just here at the rocks and the bushes, it's also a really popular place. But that are the general places, you will see it.
So if you want to scout a proxy, obviously, what would your probe sort of pathway going to be? What's the best ideal way to try to avoid being proxy at that sort of time?
So how you want to scout it?
Yeah, what's your path? What would be the path be for the probe to go around? Do you just go straight into the main? Obviously, check anything on, and then you realise there's a proxy coming, and then you just go through a little path to the gold mine, and then walk back and scout to the bottom, or
yeah, well,
the most ideal.
You're obviously going to scout the main first, and we'll see the lack of pylons and the gases.
Yep.
And then you're just going to leave his base and go to the gold locations with your SCV, and you have your Reaper or 2 Reapers popping out, and they're going to go into these places here and just scout basically the whole map. Because when you know you're going to be proxied, you don't want to scout the main anymore with your Reaper, you just want to get to know where's the proxy, where is it coming from, because if you see it very early, you can sometimes even deny the oracle from going out with killing the pylon. I've played a game today on this map, and he proxied me here, and I scouted it very early, got his pylon, so he couldn't get the oracle out and had to bring a probe, get another pylon, so he already lost the game there. Yeah. So if you can scout it immediately, good for you.
Additional supply depots.
Okay, so that's very good.
The other thing is blink scouting. Normally you will see blink behind the mineral base because you can wall off. So the only entrance to the backyard of your base is through the mineral line, and you can get probes around it. So the best way to get your blink set up is at the back of your mineral line. So that's generally where the Twilight Council will be. And sometimes it's just like here or here.
Do players go proxy Twilight Councils any chance like that? Do they proxy like maybe down at the bottom here? I've seen some pro player do DT proxy sort of in that sort of area as well. Is that quite common in ladder in Europe at the moment?
No, Europe is mostly macro-wide, but on the North American server you will find a lot more cheese and proxy stuff. But if you scout with your Reaper constantly, you will see like, oh, he has double gas, and he has like good amount of pylons, but I don't see anything but one gateway and a cybernetics card, and you know something is up. So then you can already send a Marine out to scout the whole map, or your Reapers, because that's what you see Zerg players do too. They are going to scout for any proxy pylons on the map. So you should do that. You should do that too as a Terran player, and just send out a Marine and scout the whole map. It's really You're getting a real benefit from that, and I don't know any reason to not do it every game.
So that's definitely a good benefit of having a Reaper out early. Just rather than just being annoyed and attack, as we see earlier in the build order, is also a very important bit of tools to scout the map and understanding. You're always on the right foot and react to that. Yep. Okay.
Yes. The next thing is pushing. Where do you push, and what's the best places to push? Well, when you have your mid-game attack, you are most likely to attack up this ramp. But if he has Templar play, you're just going to set up an arc like this, like in an arc at the bottom of the ramp, and constantly send a few units up. So if he attacks down, you already have like a half a surround ready. And in the mid game, when he has his earth, usually here, you can attack from this ramp and this ramp to have like a multi-prong attack, or multi-prong, and get like a good arc also. But if he takes his third here, you can actually do really good Widow Mine to get them on the bottom of his third. So if you had some units, drop them up here like you see Terran players do against Zerg, you can just drop them out and let the Protoss player take the Widow Mine hits and be really angry with you because you have OP drops.
Yeah, I see a lot of tank push on that sort of high level ground as well against Zerg,
Yeah.
so it's really benefit if they're going to, if you get greedy and take the gold. That's definitely a good place to put your tank or Widow Mine, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why you never see actually Zergs take the gold expansion till really late into the game, because it's really hard to defend it.
So
as a Protoss, it's also really hard to defend it, because you can have your Vikings just hung around here and shoot at your Colossus, and your Stalkers can't hit it because they don't have as much range as a Viking does. So for a Protoss, it's also really hard to defend it.
So for a Protoss player, where do they normally set up their army? Where do they stand their army most of the time?
Most of the time they're just turtling up and be defensive, because the Terran players attacking, so most of the time they're just at their natural, and some units in the main, mostly Stalkers to fight drops. But if you see your Protoss player is on 3 bases, you will most likely see the units at the third, and then a bit in between of the ramp of the natural and the third itself, so a bit in between, so to defend both places at once. So if you know that you can do some, if you have that in mind and you scan and you see his army there, you can already out position your opponent and do like a flank 2-side attack, and you already have the positional benefit of that fight.
So pretty much like the last pro replays, and it tried to attack and probably drop at the same time. That's really going to hurt the Protoss player in this map.
Yeah, definitely, especially if he doesn't get to scout. The Protoss is very fragile. If he, you can warp in, but it does take a while before they warped in, so you really need your army at the right place to defend a drop or defend an attack, and otherwise he's going to take massive amounts of damage.
Okay, so for the other way around then, for a Terran player then, if I'm sitting in the defensive side, where should I put my army? Where's a good place to to hold your army and ready for push?
Generally you just want to have your army on your natural here, but if you're on 3 bases and the Protoss is most likely to attack you, you want to sort out, is he going to attack from this side or is he going to push down the ramp here? And if he goes for the attack here and he has Colossus, just put your Vikings like here, in between your ramp and your natural. There's like a bit of air there, you can position your Vikings, and you can already get like this spread here to have the arc. It's really important that you have an arc if you attack into a Protoss. But if he comes from this side, you don't really have a good position to set up your Vikings. So you just want to have some units on this side of your base and some units on this side of your base.
Okay.
Might be a bit messy with the pings, but you want to have some on the east of your base and some of the south of the base, so you can also have that
Add-on complete.
positional
Game
advantage.
Okay. Yeah.
Are there any questions? Any notes? Any questions? Marks?
So we cover quite a lot here in this map. Obviously talking about proxy Stargate, where's the likelihood of places it's going to be, what's the best place for doing engagement and seeing where's the positions of the armies are placed for both sides, for both Terran and Protoss side. I think there's a lot of the similarity for other maps as well, because it's quite similar in a way, but again you want to be really focusing on placing the correct army to set up your engagement. So wonderful tonight. Any other questions, people? Okay.
No, we're just moving on to Frost. Where is it? Okay. So Frost is already a bit different. It's a 4-player map, of course. So you want to scout on a different pattern than on like Habitation. So if we're on the map,
Game
so let's say
paused.
we are pulled and we just spawned here, and our Protoss player, it doesn't matter where it is, but you will most likely see the proxy oracle like here,
Game resumed.
here, like here on the 3rd, on the high ground, in the 4th mineral line, in this mineral line, and sometimes even here, because it's out of the vision range, but it is in the scouting pattern of an SCV if it goes to a base, so it's not that common. But if we keep in mind that it's a 4-player map and our Protoss player does not have scouted us, you can already rule out this position and this position, because that's spawning based. So you can rule those out. You will only have this one, or like a more neutral position like here. Because it can have that base or that base. And just the spotting for Twilight Countess is the same here. It's going to be in the back of the mineral line because it can be walled off. Proxy tech will, it can be anywhere on the map, but when you see it in Pro League, it will be like in the older bases or like here. Sometimes you see it like there, but there's not really a general place where you see the proxy tech.
So in a bigger map, there's less option, isn't it, to go for scout? It's pretty much hope for the best, isn't it? There's no specific places.
Yeah, yes, it's a dice roll. If you chose a good position for your Stargate, it's very good, and if you don't, it will hit later, and you will get the turn to have more time to react to it.
So for a 4-player map then, so if I go for like a Reaper opener and go for a really early scout, what sort of direction do you go for to scout as from base to base wise? Do you go clockwise or do you go anti-clockwise? There's a lot of topic on that apparently.
Yeah, I don't know why there's so much topic about it. I generally see the pros scout with clockwise, So that's what I do. I would scout, but I think it doesn't really matter because it's like square, so it has the same length as, I don't know what it's called in English, from left to right, but that's the same, so it doesn't really matter. The scouting or the distance to each base is the same. But maybe there's like something with proxy attack that's easy to scout if you're going clockwise. But I don't know why this counterclockwise or clockwise.
Okay.
So if we look at engagements, we just think that our Protoss opponent is here. And we can push up the ramp like from here, or we can take the high ground route here. But I would say facing storm, you want to push up the ramp and get at concave like we discussed on Habitation Station. If you face like a robotics plane, you would generally want to take the high ground route because it's more safe to do. And any late game engagements can be done all over the map, probably with open space like here. But it's really important that you always have that arc, always have that concave, and yeah, try to waffle stomp your opponent.
So for dropping wise then, for obviously dropping into the Protoss main, what's a good direction? What's the best drop you could get out of this, and what sort of like, you know, flanking attack as we were looking at earlier? Do we drop into natural while we're attacking to the third, or do we drop into main and attack to the third, or what's the preferred option here?
Well, the general rule of thumb is when you move, when you drop, let's say our opponent is here, and you drop somewhere like here, then you want to push the other side, and you want to push there. So you want to push away from your drop, so you have your opponents spread thin, and yeah, try to outposition them. So in this case, you would send a drop here and wait for a bit till your Protoss opponent will move his units to the fences and then move up here to try to snipe the Nexus, get some probes. Because if he doesn't split his army well, you're just going to do massive amounts of damage. Anything you have to answer or questions?
No, I think everyone seems very happy about our game so far. Or maybe everyone's just fallen asleep.
Well, I hope that's not the case.